Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, you don't see, we have a guest on tonight, former alum from GMU, George Mason University. For those that do not know, currently pro basketball player over in Madrid, Spain. None other than Sonia Smith. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for the superb intro. I'm good. I'm good though.
Hey, we appreciate you taking time off your schedule to hop on with us. This has been a long time coming for us, and I'm glad we finally are able to connect to
Yeah, for
give the
sure.
people. I already know you're going to have some great answers, great responses, a lot of gems and wisdom that you're going to share with the people. So definitely appreciate it. If you're watching, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. We trying to be here for a good time and a long time.
Yes,
We're going
sir.
to start off with this one. So, obviously, if you haven't caught on by the introduction, she plays basketball. I want to start where did the love for basketball start for you? Like, what made you want to pick up a basketball?
Honestly, as cliche as this sounds, I feel like it chose me because I grew up in a household, both my parents, but my mom had four boys before me. So she was like, I finally got my little girl. She's gonna do everything other than like physical sports. She put me in dance, put me in tap, ballet, and jazz. Was about to put me in cheer, but when I started dancing, I also started basketball too, like Pee Wee. And she eventually just gave up because she saw like I loved basketball more. I was enjoying that more than dancing. So then it was just like, all right, we're just gonna stick to sports. So I just grew up running track and playing basketball. So I would just say that it was just like I gravitated to it.
Do you feel being in dance and doing track, do you feel that actually kind of like helped you on the basketball court?
I definitely say it would. Um, I definitely say it would because my footwork has always, it's never been like a problem when I go to train for track or basketball. And then aside from that, for track, just conditioning me for basketball. I was doing like for AAU, I was doing both, going from basketball tournaments to track meets, and it was a lot, but it honestly made me the athlete I am today and conditioned me for what was to come when I got older. So it was perfect.
Yeah, that track life is built. It'll have you in tip top.
Yeah, no, my brother that's 2 years older than me, he chose track. Like he ran track for Pitt. And I always commend track runners, track athletes because like it's just that's dedication. That's dedication.
I say it all the time. Track is really different
Yeah.
because, especially at that highest level, you talking in college, professionally, the Olympics, you
Hmm.
train a lot for
That is
legit,
live.
sometimes 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, and
Literally.
my main point of that is like for basketball, we get possession after possession to fix our mistakes. Track, you gotta wait to the next meet. You gotta grind just for like 15 seconds of trying to show what you grinded all this time for. Like, shout out all the track runners.
Salute to y'all because I stopped after like 8th grade. Like, nah, I couldn't do it. So I stuck to basketball. For you, right? Being overseas, how has that transition been? Coming from the States to being in Spain.
It was for sure nerve wracking first going into it, but once I got there and got a routine, it was way easier than I thought it would be. Like I was like, it's a whole nother language, a whole nother culture. But I feel like Spain was the most one of the most perfect places to go to from the US. Because it's not really that difference. The language barrier is troubling sometimes, but luckily enough, I landed in Madrid, and it's a tourist area kind of. So a lot of people speak English. They also learn English in school, and a lot of my teammates went to school in the U.S. for college. So it's like it was easier to adapt than I thought. There's still some troubles because I'm not fluent in Spanish. Some troubles going to the grocery store and stuff like that. But in the gym and having to do with professional basketball, majority of my team, my staff speaks English very well. So it's not that hard. They translate certain stuff for me when need be, and they speak English to me when need be. So it's been pretty good.
Before going over there, did you know any Spanish, or it's all been learning once you've been over there?
Only Spanish I knew is what Dora taught me, honestly. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I tried to rush and do Duolingo before going over there, but it was just like it wasn't enough.
Got it, got it. So with being over there though, we've had on plenty of people that's gone overseas and some say it's cool, they love it. Some say they trying to get back home. For you, is the ultimate goal to get back to the States or you think you'll be comfortable overseas?
The ultimate goal, I am comfortable overseas, but the ultimate goal is coming back to the States. Because I feel like me personally, I feel like that the W is the highest level that you can go to. Like that's what a lot of women athletes, basketball players aspire to go. Personally for me, I feel like that is the end goal. But also the Euro League and overseas too. I feel like that's very competitive. The limelight is on WNBA a lot, but that league is very, very good too, very talented. So honestly, whichever highest level, whether it's overseas, whether it's W, I'm trying to just get there, push myself to get there.
Now, for you, the rookie season for you is not completed yet, but as the season has gone so far, how have you felt? How would you evaluate your first season being a professional?
I would say so far, it's a roller coaster. I played in 10 games, and about half of them were how I expect myself to play, and the other half kind of fell below that standard for me. So just trying to get that consistency is what I'm most focused on when I go back next month. I'm trying to just get back where I know I can be and how I should be playing and keep that consistent for the last games of the season that I'm gonna be back for. So I say I've been doing pretty average for my standard anyways, but I know I could do way better.
So you said playing how you're used to playing, what your standard is.
Hmm.
What would you describe as your game? Are you more of trying to get your teammates involved? Are you out here getting buckets? How would you describe your game? I've seen the highlights. I've seen the records at George Mason. So I have my own opinion, but I want to hear from you. How do you view your game?
I view my game as taking whatever the defense gives me. I can't, because my whole life I grew up being a great facilitator. Like I wouldn't name a passer better than me ever. Like I was great. And then when I got to college, when I got to Mason, they needed me to step into that scoring role more, which was a little hard for me to adjust to. But now I feel like nobody could guard me. So it's like I kind of have a balance of both to where if I start going off and people are taking me away as an option, it's easy for me to find my teammates, find other options to do. So I would say both, kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, from what I saw in the film, there was games where they needed to go drop 25,
Hmm.
and you went and dropped 25. But for those that don't know, you also had some assist records over at George Mason. So diming people out was not a problem for you.
Nah, never, never. So I just take what the defense gives me all the time.
That's the smart way to approach it instead of forcing it, especially from your point guard. You ain't gonna want
Absolutely.
to. You ain't gonna want to play with you because you got the ball in your hands a lot of the time, and you forcing it. People not gonna want to be on your team. It's
That's
gonna
a
cause
fact.
issues.
That's a fact.
So for you, right?
Hmm.
You're overseas. You have the ultimate goal of going to the W. I know you were invited to the WNBA combine. You wanted either W, Euro League, but to get to this point, it takes certain sacrifices. For
Hmm.
you, what sacrifices have you had to make to get to where you are today?
I feel like the sacrifices really started like getting to an extreme point, like growing after my freshman year. So that's when my freshman year of high school, I ran track and played basketball. After that year, I was transferring to private school as like down here in Maryland, the private school sector was much more competitive than public school in PG County. So I decided to go to private school and I was away from all the friends I grew up with. And it's just more demanding because you're going there, yes, for education, but also because you're more serious about the sport than you have been and you know where you want to go. So it's like I had to miss out on a lot of fun things, like how people say parties, but also just like if my like vacations, I never took a vacation until I was in college, like late college. Like I never really had free time to do anything. So I feel like that's the biggest sacrifice, just choosing your craft over freelancing and having fun.
Yeah, that's a thing that a lot of people don't factor in getting
Hmm.
into it. You know, oh, I want to be a professional basketball player. I want to be a professional football player. I want to be an actor. People
Hmm.
don't factor in their sacrifices that come with that. If you want to be good, that is.
Yeah.
Now you could go to all the parties and you'll be all right.
You could, yeah.
You'll be all right. It's a small set of people that I know we both know that they went to parties and still was dropping 30. But
Yeah.
for the most for the most of us, that wasn't an option at all.
Yeah.
You're home currently right now, getting ready to head back over there. What are you looking to add to your game? What have you been working on even now? And then I know you already kind of have in your head what you want to work on in the off season. So what are some
Mhm.
things that you feel coming back to Spain and in the off season that you want to work on to just even sharp your craft even more?
Yeah, for sure. So I would, when I left, I would say I was performing like subpar, and my standard was because my efficiency was not where I wanted to be at all. So as I've been home, I've just really been trying to get my shot consistent because I feel like that's been a big part of my efficiency not being as high as I wanted to be. Like my shot would change depending on the shots I'm taking, how I'm taking them.
Mhm.
So just really keying in on my form, just form shooting, more technical rather than working out 3 times a day, going aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. It's like I need to technically just get my game consistent. And just getting back to finishing. When I developed the mid range game in college, I kind of started getting to the basket less, committing fouls less. I mean, not committing fouls, but making
Drawing
other team
fouls.
fouls,
Yeah.
yeah, drawing fouls. I started drawing fouls much less. So I want to get back to that too because I was a great finisher. I still am a great finisher, but I don't do it as often because I just started just depending on my pull up and before I could get all the way in, just pulling up. So I want to get back to finishing and then just getting my efficiency higher.
That all sounds like great things to add to the game. Because you've played the game at the highest level. I'm sure you understand the value of all right, you drop 30, but if you drop 30 on 30 shots, that's
Not good.
yeah, that kind of look nasty. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that ain't a good one right there. You mentioned, and I saw this in the research, Maryland. I didn't put this on the docket, but I just had to ask because you're from the area, so I know you could probably answer this pretty well without even having to think about it. What makes basketball players from the DMV so good? Because we saw the documentaries on the PG
Yeah.
County, we see Maryland and then Virginia. And, oh, y'all
Hmm.
have the best ballers. For you, being from the area, what makes DMV ballers just so different?
It's I just feel like it was an area that just had different players like that are good. Like it's a variety of players that are super good to where like if in certain states you know who's going P5 and then there's a drastic shift to like everybody else kind of. Here, you might walk into a gym with a girl that plays D2 and she's cooking somebody who's at a Power 5 right now. And it's like you have that competition all the time, like no matter what team you play and at a certain level. So it's like I feel like that's what makes it so elite because you could walk into a gym any given day and be like, I don't know this girl. She'll give you buckets. Like it don't matter if you have a name, it don't matter what it is. Like you gotta every time, every gaming in the DMV, you gotta come ready to play because like it's not really on the name. Like everybody can compete here.
That's what I've heard. I heard that, and I heard it's a certain swagger that y'all play with too,
Yeah.
especially being that y'all have so many men and female that have made it pro. It's a certain,
You see
yeah, they
it.
they from my city. You
You
feel me?
see it.
They from my city. So
Nah, yeah.
shout,
Okay.
shout out to DMV area for you growing up though, being
Hmm.
that before college, pretty much you focused on facilitating. Then George Mason said, "Hey, we need you to go get some buckets."
Hmm.
Who were some players that you looked up to, like growing up, that you tried to model your game after?
Skylar Diggins. That's like the first player I knew and stayed with. I was immediately like I could get pictures from when I was younger. I never didn't wear a headband before college. I always had a headband on, tie back headband. Like that was the player for me. I just generally I always watch basketball, but like
Mhm.
Skylar Diggins was the player for me.
Yo, she didn't make it out to the next round once she saw Enrique, but that
Mhm.
first round against Erica, yo,
Nah, she's an animal. She can really
people
get
be
to it.
forgetting about Skylar,
Forgetting,
man. They be
forgetting.
forgetting she had the baby, and y'all forgot. Skylar has always been a dog,
A dog.
an absolute dog. Shout out to
Yeah.
Skylar Diggins, one of my favorite players. I was hyped
Yes.
that she was coming back. It didn't work out last season with Seattle and all that, but
Hmm.
I was hyped like, oh, her with Jewel, oh, it's curtains for the league.
Yeah. I'm just happy she came back with a vengeance. Like y'all tripping. Trying to show everybody they tripping. I love that.
I can't wait to see what she does next season. So definitely
Yeah.
be locked in for that. This might be part of the reasoning why, but
Oh.
I saw George Mason, and then I see overseas. Is there any significance in choosing that number 4 that you rock?
Nah, she is definitely a big reason, but also my brother's god brother is Danny Green. Danny Green's dad and my dad are really, really close. So I can't say we because we moved. I was born in New York, but we moved when I was like 3. So we were
Mhm.
always around them, but like my brothers grew up with them and Danny Green's kids and all of them. So I feel like that was a big part too because he's always had 14, and then when he couldn't get 14, he would have 4. And that's kind of what I did too when I was little. Other girls on my team would want 4, and like if they were to get it, I would go 14. Like when I got to college, I would, or in high school, I picked 2. But like when I was younger, I would always just probably tape a 1 on my jersey, and I would put the 14. So it was definitely Skylar Diggins and Danny Green.
Shout out to them. Great career by Danny too. But
Hmm.
for you, right? You've played a lot of basketball. You're at the highest level now. What has been the best piece of advice you've received in your career?
I hate answering this question because, like, as an athlete, you always see inspirational posts and you always hear great things. Like, I am a sponge when it comes to this. Like, I take in everything. So, I feel like the best piece of advice I've gotten since I've been older, not even gotten, but I've instilled in myself, has been pretty vulgar, but it's F it and just be you. Because that has grown my game a lot. Just learning to is you always in I was always in my own way because it was like, what if I miss this shot? What if I get a turnover? What if I do this wrong? The coach is gonna be mad. My teammates gonna be mad. I'm just worried about everything other than just going out there and being me. So like at a certain point I was like, F it, like you just gotta go. So once I got that instilled in myself, like I've just done so much better. But aside from that, like something I've always heard, but like the last time I heard it was like my first year at Mason, my teammate, she was just like, she was giving us a talk. She was the captain at the time, and she was just like, shout out Janaya. She was like, every moment that you're not working, somebody else is. At the moment, she was like, every moment we're not working hard, another team in the A10 is going harder. Like, so that's been the best advice for me because that's been the thought that has gotten me up every single time. Every time I'm like, I do not feel like getting up. Dang, I gotta go to the gym. Every time I feel like that, I just know somebody's in the gym right now. Somebody's getting better and I'm not. So I got to get up. So I feel like that's definitely been that push that's definitely the best piece.
So I think we got the title of the episode right there. F it, be you.
Right.
That's a perfect title of the episode. You mentioned that once you fully embrace that mindset,
Mhm.
it was go Tom, killing, not a problem. But
Yeah.
what had to happen for you to actually fully embrace that mindset? What triggered, what went off in your head that helped build that confidence to where you're at now?
I would say that entire year, kind of my first year at Mason. And that's why I always give my coaching staff praise at Mason because they kind of instilled that in me too, to where it's like all throughout high school. Oh, and from when I was getting coached my last year at AAU, by my brother Keith, LJ, and other coach Malik Wali. They were like all of high school. I was just a facilitator, but like it was drilled into my head, like you're just a point guard. Like scoring was not my first thought. If I'm in an opportunity to score, I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna take a layup, but it's never a go score. It was always like you gotta control the team, be a facilitator. So when I got to my last summer, I went to their AU team and they were just like, we need you to shoot at least 10 shots a game. Like that's the type of facilitator I was. I wasn't even shooting 10 shots. To me right now, that seems ridiculous. I wasn't even shooting 10 shots. So it's like that whole summer, they were just like, you need to shoot. You need to shoot. Like, we need you to go score. So that was the start of it. And then I went to Sacred Heart and I kind of got back into that facilitator. It's definitely games where I did score a lot, but it was inconsistent. Then when I got to Mason, they literally told me, like, we need, like, it's my teammate Paula, we need you at the one, Sonia, you're the two. Don't even think about fast first trying to hesitate and stuff. Like, we need you to get to it. Like, we need you to do, because we know, like, everything else came instinctively because I've been a point guard. I'm not going to miss a pass. I'm not going to all the time make bad decisions. So it's like, they needed me to step into that where it's like, shoot it. Like, we're losing games because you're choosing to take the back seat in a lot of areas we need you to step up in. So it's like they kept drilling that in my head. They kept drilling that in my head. And then playoffs for me that year was amazing. So then it's like, I got to go into this fifth year just like I did in playoffs. So then that's when it was just like, F it. Like every game my last year at Mason, it was just like, I got to get to it.
Shout out to Coach Blair Lewis. I saw you posted that today.
Yes.
Still
Yes.
doing her thing over there at George Mason. Shout out to her. And that's key. If you're watching this, if you are listening to this, when the coaches and your teammates give you that green light and say we need you,
That's key.
that's huge. And
Huge.
that should be also a confidence boost because it's like they see it, even if you don't see it, like, nah, we need you to do this. We
Hmm.
not we
And
want you to.
that's what it was for me. Cause it's like I knew I could, but I feel like I did need that extra, like, we need you, like, to know my coaches wanted me to do it too. Cause it's like I knew I could, but I was always worried about what mistakes I made. But as soon as they told me, like, we don't care, like, we know what you can do, go do it. It's like, all right. All right, I don't got nothing to worry about no more.
That's fire. That's the best way to play when you have that carefree mentality.
Mhm.
Not, oh, I'm gonna just go get 15 turnovers, but knowing that, all right, if I do make a mistake, coach not gonna sit me down and yell at me and curse me out, and then I don't play for the rest of the game.
Yeah, cause she know I could bounce back. So that's exactly what I
Exactly.
did.
Exactly. So, fourth quarter segment. For those that's watching, that's listening, you already know what this segment is. Kind of more of the fun questions that end off the show. Again, we thank you for hopping on, taking time out your schedule to be on with us.
Of course.
First thing, every guest that comes on, I'm a foodie. I eat for four. It may not look like it, but I eat for four. I always have to ask a food related question. One meal you could eat and not get tired of.
A meal. I'm gonna just say my favorite. So it's either I get love like a good salmon, mashed potatoes, and asparagus. But then if you can even interchange the salmon with a good steak. Oh, I've grown to love steak. Steak, steak is good. But now I'm a foodie too. I love food. But like I would say those two dishes right there, really, really. Oh no, and my mom's Haitian. She makes an amazing poisson. So like her chicken, rice, and poisson. I named about three meals, but it's okay.
Okay, so you gonna have to one. So you sparked my interest right there. Salmon, love the salmon. Steak, my wife knows I'm a. She knows if I could have a steak every day of the week, I probably would have a steak every day of the week.
Mhm.
Breakfast, I could figure it out, mix it with some eggs. Lunch, yes, that sounds like a very, very delicious, healthy meal. Also, the salmon, the asparagus with the mashed potatoes,
Mhm.
beautiful. Top tier athlete that we talking to, obviously, because you ain't mentioned that you wanted a chopped cheese with extra mayo or nothing like that. So
No, 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 no.
you eating right, but you made my antennas go up. Haitian food, right?
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
have one of my co-hosts Haitian. My high school, literally about if I had 15 friends, 8 of them was Haitian. It was a heavy Haitian population in West Orange. My barber sometimes that I go to, Haitian. and I'll be sitting there confused when they start speaking, and I don't be catching on nothing. They throw a little something in there, Kobe Bryant. I'm like, I don't know what they saying. Food. If
Mm-hmm.
you had to suggest a meal to go get, because I've had certain things from one of my homies. His mom will cook something here and there, but I wanted to try. My birthday's this weekend. I wanted to go get some Haitian food, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to order. If you were to say, yo, this is the meal to get, what would it be?
Oh, honestly, I don't even know if I have one for you. Cause I have some. Okay, so the pasta sauce she makes amazing, but like she has not consistently cooked Haitian food in a while. Shout out to my mom for not doing that. This is bad shout out. But there's a dish that we usually eat on New Year's. We kind of stopped doing that too. I told her we need to start it. But soup jamu. Soup jamu is really good. It's a soup though, so that's why I didn't recommend it to you off the bat. Cause I heard what you like. I ain't so
Does it
I
have
would say
potatoes in it?
yeah, yeah.
So the barbershop, he had some at the barbershop.
Oh,
I
for real?
had some. Yeah. I brought it home to my wife, like, yo, this junk good as heck.
It's
This is
so good.
mad good. I did not
It's so
expect
good.
to go get a shape up. And he was like, we got some soup. You want some? Tried it. I was like, oh, this is so good.
And you know, like Jamaican patties, right?
Hmm.
There's a Haitian pate that like one of my family members used to make because all my Haitian family and Jamaican family lives in New York still. So like I haven't had it in a while, but Haitian pate is super good, super good.
I'll keep that in mind because I've heard that. I had the soup, and I know one thing that I have to try that I haven't tried that I've spoke to multiple Haitians, and they always mention they live by griot.
Oh yes, yes. That might be the word I hear every day when we go see my family in New York. Actually,
Definitely will add it to the list. One thing that you so far with being over there, one thing that you love about Spain.
I would say first and foremost the people for sure.
Mhm.
It's a very welcoming environment. Like I always feel like even being on my own out there, I always feel safe because the number two would be the walkability of it. I have to not have to, but when it's warm outside, I walk everywhere because it's pretty close. So like the public transportation is very accessible, very fast. So yeah, those would be the top two things I would say. The people, a lot of people out there, and then the walkability of it.
All time starting five of WNBA players. If you had to build your starting five of WNBA players, who would you have on that roster?
All time starting five. I'd say I have to go Skylar Diggins. I have to go Skylar. My next person I fell in love with when she was at Notre Dame, Enrique. Enrique. Asia Wilson for sure. Uh, let's go Candace Parker.
Mm.
Who's a fifth? Who can be my fifth? Um, that's a big lineup, but let's just go Lisa Leslie.
I don't think they losing many games with that roster right there.
You feel me? I had to.
Last one before we end off this episode. Star bench cut. Now this will have
Oh
a
Lord.
follow-up question based off of which one that you like the most.
Okay.
Star bench cut, books, TV shows, movies.
That's about to make me look so bad. I gotta I gotta cut books.
You're not alone in that. I'm cutting books too, but
Um
continue your list.
I gotta cut books. Movies and oh well bench movies start TV shows. I love binging. It's bad, it's a bad habit, but I love binging.
We on the same page with that
All
one.
right, good, good,
We
good.
on the same page with that. The benching. I was just telling my friend, I feel over the last like year and a half, I've actually gone more TV shows and TV series
Mm-hmm.
over the movies. If you had to anything that comes to mind, your favorite Whether it's recent or all time, your favorite like TV shows.
Favorite TV shows. I hate favorite questions. I'm the most indecisive person you'll probably meet. Like, it's so bad.
What's some that you've watched recently that were good?
Suits. Suits was good. I was late to that. What else? I was just watching something in Spain. Money Heist was so good. I was trying to watch it with the subtitles, but in Spanish to try to learn some stuff. It didn't help, but it was good. It was good. And then right now I'm watching The Night Agent, and that's been pretty good. So
That's a solid list right there.
hmm
Definitely, I'd like to see if you post it or you DM me, let me know what you think about season 2 of Night Agent. I
Okay,
watched
yeah.
I watched both seasons. I like to know what you think about it, but
Okay.
y'all know the vibes here on the BME podcast. If you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready.
Don't got
Bench Mob, we out. Peace.